In this video, I show you how to play Battlefront Valkyrie by Fat Dragon Games. But before we get into today's video, just want to share with you what the GGGGs are for this month. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts. And for this month of March of 2025, we have two pledges for the upcoming RM printable terrain launching on March 26th. And we have $100 going towards a crowdfunding campaign, which my Patreon supporters are currently voting upon. Go ahead and use the link below to go to my Patreon page where you can get in on this month's gratitude gifts for only just $1. So if you haven't seen my previous video, go ahead and check it out here where I show you how I deluxeified the miniatures and some of the components for Battlefront Valkyrie. This is a spaceship game from Fat Dragon Games. And the unique thing about it is that you can fully 3D print everything, including the components. The only thing that you will need to add is dice and a mat to be able to play on. Now, I'm showing this on a 2-foot by 2-foot mat. You should really be playing either on a 3x3 or a 4x4, depending on how many ships that you have. But for the sake of this demo, I'm just using this 2x2 so that you can get a sense of how the game plays. And if you haven't seen already, go ahead and check out Tom's video here. That's a tutorial that goes over some of the rules so that can give you a general sense of what they are. As I do the playthrough, I will mention some of the rules, but it is helpful just to have that background. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so let me go ahead and show you the setup here. First, on the Kurgan side, I've got the heavy cruiser here, and then the frigate right here. The heavy cruiser for the Krugans is 10 more points than the heavy cruiser for the Terrans. So we got the large ship for the heavy cruiser and then the smaller ship for the frigate. And to make up for that 10-point difference, I did go ahead and add a yellow drone, which is 10 more points. And then also got a red drone, which is another 15, which also the Kurgan side also opted for the red drones. But I got a mine for each one of the ships, and that is 5 points each. And then on this side, the heavy cruiser also has 2 more orange drones, which are 5 points each. So we'll see which one's better, the mines or the drones. And then what I do is with these counters, I match the hull and the engine power so that it matches here. There is 5 engine and then 4 hull. So that's what you see here. And I did that for all of the ships. Last one is this heavy cruiser. This has 7 engines and 10 hull. So I set that aside for all of them. And then I also use counter dice because these are limited. So I have 4 missiles and then 2 rockets on each side. Over here I have 6 missiles and then just 1 rocket on the aft side. You'll notice here I've got these reserve power tokens. I have 4 of them. I look up here, that's what determines the number. I have 2 for the frigates. It's the same number on the opposite side as well. And then we have set up multiple asteroids as well as these smaller ones, which are going to be drifting at the beginning of the movement phase. So now we're going to first go into the command phase, which is each side will take their reserve power and decide what they want to do with it. So here I'm going to decide to actually put it all in my weapons. So both weapon 1 and 2, which is front, I'm going to add +2 to the range and then a +1 die to the damage. And then with the frigate, I'm going to stick it on +2 movement. Let's do a die for damage. Actually, I'm going to put it on the sensors over here because I don't think I'm actually going to be able to close the gap this first round. So I'll put it there. On the Terran side, I'm going to go ahead and put in +2 to movement and then weapons as well. Actually, I'm going to do +1 and then I'm going to actually put this onto the front defense right here. So instead of rolling 3, I'll roll 4. You can put up to 2 of these tokens on any of the sides to roll that many extra dice on your defense rolls. Down here, I'm going to go ahead and just do sensors here, and then +1 to weapon range. So now that the command phase is over, we're going to go ahead and do the sensor phase. So both sides will take 2 dice. And I can tell you right now that the Terran side is going to win, because not only did they get 12, but here is a +2 to the sensor, so this is actually 14. If I had put this here, it would have been another +2 to make it 16. And then here I did devote 1 to the sensor on my frigate, but that's not going to change this into a 10, so the Terran side is actually winning. Next up, we're going to do movement phase. So drifting asteroids and any drifting ships go first. We have a number of smaller asteroids out here, so let's go ahead and take a look at their arrow and see which direction it is moving. Set the ruler to the side and it will move 2 inches. So all of the small meteors are going to move 2, and this happens first. Finally this one. It's hard to do with just one hand. So the asteroids moved first, and then now we do drone deployments. So I do have the option now to drop a drone, but I'm not going to do that on the Kurgan side, but I will, with my heavy cruiser, drop a set of drones. And I'm going to send out my red drone, and you just pop it anywhere off the base. And then this has a number 2 red die, so I will signify that it is targeting the heavy cruiser over here. After drone deployment, now we have ship movement, and because the Terrans won, they're going to move half of their ships, then it will go over to the Kurgan side, they're going to move all their ships, and then finally it will go back to the Terrans and they'll move their second half. So the first set of movement, I'm going to go ahead and do the large ship, and if you look here, it's going to get 7 inches of movement as it is not damaged, so it has full engine power. Go ahead and set the ruler there. It's going to move its full movement up to 7. Now it will go over to this side, and let's see, let's go ahead, and the frigate has 5 inches of movement, so the frigate is going to go first, and it's going to move forward 4 inches, and then need to turn. So I'm going to go less than 90, so I'm going to just turn this way to avoid hitting that meteor. So that was its 5th move, was to turn like that. And then I have to move my second ship. It also has a movement of 7 here. So I will place this down and then move it forward 7 and just go barreling straight ahead. And then going back to the Terrans, they're going to move their last ship. Again, this is going to get 5 inches of movement. I'm going to go straight ahead like this and finish its 5. Now all the movement has been done, and then we finish off with drone movement. So there's only 1 drone out there, and we see from the drone table that the red drones have an engine value of 7, so it's going to move forward 7 inches. So basically it's going to end up right next to the ship that it originally came from, which makes sense because both of them have 7 movement. And you can overlap other ships, you just can't end up on the same spot as them. Now we're going to go ahead and do the combat phase. So now missiles will launch. The frigates do not have missiles, but the cruisers do, and so the Terran is going to go ahead and target the back of this ship. The Kurgans are going to do exactly the same. Target the back. So you can target any side of the ship that you want. Now the ships attack. So the Terrans won the sensor phase, so they're going to go first. I'm going to go ahead and shoot with my heavy cruiser, and right now this is directly in the front, so only the forward guns are able to shoot. And he has two weapons, both weapon 1 and weapon 2, that can shoot from the front, as well as these missiles who have shot. Oh, forgot to put this down to 5 because it shot a missile. And then this one down to 3. So first, let's go ahead and do weapon number 1. And let's see if it is within 5 inches, which it is not. It's about 8 inches apart. So anything up to 8 inches is going to be medium range, so there is no bonus. If it had been shorter, within 5 or less, he would have gotten an extra attack die, or if it was long range, between up to 13 inches after 9 inches, then it would have been -1 penalty for long range. But we have a base 3d6 of dice that we're going to roll. So I'm going to grab 3 dice. But here with weapon 1, I have a +1 d6 on damage. So I am hitting on 4, 5, or 6, and I only got 1 6. No 5s or 4s. So 1 hit so far. And then if I look at the forward defense, I'm rolling 3. You see that 3/2? It goes down to 2 once I up down to 3 engine power. I'm going to roll 3 and I defend on a 5 or a 6. I rolled 2 5s, so these 5s are going to cancel out. If I had rolled just 1 5, it would have canceled this out. So no damage done with that attack. Now we're going to go to beam number 2, which is exactly the same number of dice because I put a reserve power here. So I'm going to roll 4 dice once again. Wow, look at that. That's a great roll. We have 2 6s and a 5 and 1 miss. And then again, I get 3 dice for defense. And I only got 1 6. So starting from the lowest dice, I'm going to remove that. But 2 6s go through, so 2 hits. Now normally, when I get hit, I can choose whether or not I want to take the damage from the hull or whether or not I want to take it from the engine. But with 6s, you automatically lose engine power. So this is going to go down to 5. So there you go. And that's all of the attacks that I can do with the Terran Heavy Cruiser. So now on the Kurgan side, I'm going to go ahead and attack with my Heavy Cruiser. My first beam weapon is 3d6. Now I did add +2 to the range, but that doesn't put them within 7 inches, so I don't get a bonus dice for being in close range. So I'm going to go ahead and roll 3d6, but I did opt for a +d6, so now I'm doing 4. Again, hitting on a 4, 5, or 6. And there you go. I have 2 hits, a 5 and a 6. And then the defense here in the forward is normally 3, but because I added this reserve power, I'm rolling 4 dice for defense. And I defended only 1 of them. So it takes the lower one out, so the 6 goes through. That's going to be 1 damage to the engine. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do advanced targeting systems, which allows them to re-roll one of the misses. Now they're going to do the beam weapon number 2. Same thing. It's basically 4 dice versus 4. Wow, look at that roll. So I have 3 hits and only 1 block. So 2 more hits goes through for a total, and it takes out the engine speed, so that's going to go down to 4. There you go. Now we go back to the frigate, and the frigate has exactly the same stats here. 4, 7, and 10. It's not within 10, so there's not enough range. So they're just going to wait. Actually, I did do a +2 range on weapon 1, so actually that makes it 12 inches. And if I measure out here, both of the enemy ships are within 12. So this frigate is actually going to shoot this frigate over here. It is rolling 2d6. I didn't add a weapon to the weapon number 1, so only 2. And then for defense here on the forward is 2. So it's 2v2. No hits. And I realized I forgot to take my +2 movement, which would have gotten him in range, but oh well, that's okay. But he is currently out of range because he needs to be within 10, and both of the enemy ships are more than 10 inches away. So he's just going to stay put. Alright, so now we finally do the missile strikes. So we'll go ahead and go with the Terran missile hitting the back of this ship first. And you roll here at the missile a 3d6. And I've gotten 2 hits, one of them being a 6. And then if you notice on the back of my ship, I'm only rolling 1 die. So I do block the lowest one, which is the 4. So the 6 is remaining. Again, it's going to do another point of damage to the engine. My engine is rapidly dropping. It's going to become a 4. Now we're going to go to the other side. Pretty much the exact same roll. 3d6 for the attack. And I've gotten 2 hits. And then for defense, the Terran ship gets 2 defense dice. And it blocks 1, but another 6 goes through to reduce the engine down to 3. Alright, so that is the end of the combat phase. Let's go ahead and remove the missiles. And then now we do the repair phase. We're going to roll a d6 for each one of the ships, and if they get a 4, 5, or 6, then they can make 1 repair. So first for my heavy cruiser, Kurgan heavy cruiser. Nope, doesn't make it, rolls a 2. Next for my Kurgan frigate, does succeed, but it's at full anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I didn't need to roll for it. Now for my heavy cruiser, a 4, it can repair. I'm going to repair the engine to be a 4, and then not rolling for the frigate because it hasn't taken any damage. Now we go back to the top with turn 2 with the command phase. So for the command phase, note that at 4 engine power, it only has 3 reserve power available. So we're going to go ahead and remove this marker. Same thing over here, it gets 1 less marker. So here's how I allocated the reserve power. I got front shield, +1 to weapon 1 and +1 to weapon 2. Almost the same thing, weapon 1, weapon 2, but I added to the sensor roll here because I want initiative. And then with the Kurgan frigate, I've got +1 to damage as well as +2 inches to the range. And then I opted for +1 damage to both weapon 1 and 2 for the Terran frigate. So let's go ahead and do the sensor phase. And only the Terrans have a +2 to this roll. But that's not going to help them as they have a total of 7 versus 12. So the Kurgans are going to go first. But first we do drifting asteroids. So let's go ahead and move this to... Oh, you know what? Check this out. This asteroid over here is going to actually hit. So when a ship gets hit, should have probably shot at it last turn during the combat phase. But when the asteroid hits, it will roll 2d6, and shields do not mitigate this kind of damage. Actually does hit, and the heavy cruiser is going to opt to lower the hull power to 8. The asteroid is removed from the game, but I think we're actually going to have an impact over here as well. Again, should have shot at it. Yes, it's going to hit. So we're going to roll 2. 1 hits. It's a 6, so it does have to automatically damage the engine power, so that becomes a 4. And then finally, this asteroid is the last one that's moving. You can shoot at these. They only have a hull rating of 1. So as long as you do a point of damage, they will blow up. Alright, so let's go ahead and do movement. He's going to choose to move this guy first, and it's going to move its full 5 inches of movement forward. Like so. Next, it goes to the Terrans. They have to move both ships. Also going to be moving 5 forward to here. Oh, you know what? I should have deployed the drone first, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deploy one of the drones here. And then he's going to move forward like that. And that drone, it says number 2 orange, is going to target this ship over here. And then that ship is actually going to choose not to move, but stay there. Because right now, it is more than 5 inches away there. So he's choosing not to move, but this ship is actually going to drop its drone. Again, should have done that first, but I'm going to drop that there. And then move this forward, not the full 4 inches, because remember, these are down to 4. So their movement has been lowered. Actually, with this ship, he should have only moved in 4, so I'm going to move him back an inch. So 4 inches forward, he's not going to go the full way, but it's going to choose to go there. Also, during its movement, it's going to drop a mine. So anywhere within 3 inches, I can drop a mine. So I'll go ahead and stick that right here on the opposite side. And then now finally there is going to be drone movement. First, this one back here is going to move 7 inches, which is going to get it pretty close to right here. And then this one is actually going to hit this one because it's within 7 and go boom. If we look at our table over here, it's red. It rolls 5d6 dice. And it got only 2 hits. So because it got hit in the front, it's going to have 4d6 for defense. I need 5s and 6s. I got 2 of them, so no damage goes through. Alright, and then this final drone is going to move 6. So we'll move straight to over here. Now it passed through the small asteroid. I think that's legal. I don't think it detonates or hits the small asteroid, but if I'm wrong, go ahead and make a comment below. Alright, so we're done with drone movement. We will go into the combat phase with missile launches. So these 2 ships are going to do exactly the same with the missiles hitting the rear. And then each ship now is going to attack. So the green side is going to go first. He is going to go ahead and fire with all weapons. So the range is barely, it's 5.5. So we're not getting the close range advantage. So still only rolling 3d6. But then I did add 1 for the weapon 1 damage. Going to roll that. And then for defense, for the forward is only getting 3 dice. So we've got 3 hits, one of them being a 6, and we got 1 defense, successful defense. So 2 hits with 1 being a 6, automatically being applied to the engine, and then he's going to opt for 1 damage to go to the hull. So now here's the thing, now that it's bumped down to 3, we see it's in the orange zone. That means from now on, all the defense die are going to be the one to the right. So from now on, it's 2 to the forward side. So that was the first beam attack. The second beam attack, going to be the same thing, same roll, 4 dice, but now instead of 3 defense, it's going to be 2 defense. 2 6s. So 1 successful defense, so it's going to take the lowest away. So 2 more hits to the engine, and now the engine's down to 1. So 1 more damage and it's going to be drifting. Now it's going to go to this side. The Terran heavy cruiser is also going to shoot back. That's going to be 3 dice plus 1 for 4 total. And then the defense here, because he's still at 4, his defense is going to be 3 plus 1 more. It's going to be 4 defense dice. So this is 2 hits with 1 6, but I did get 1 successful block. So 1 6 goes through, it has to be on the engine, bumping it down to 3. So now this heavy cruiser is also going to be rolling the right side of all of its defense. That was just the first attack. Now the second attack, it's going to be the same thing. 4 attack dice. And now instead of 4 defense dice, I'm going to be rolling 3. So 3 successful hits, only 1 block. So a 5 and a 6, so I'm going to take this down to 9 and 2. So a lot of damage being taken here. Goes back to the Kurgans. This frigate is going to, it does have +2 range. So let's see what the distance is. It is 7 inches away, which normally would be medium. It actually is medium because the +2 on the range makes all of these +2, which is 6, 9, and 12. The ship is not close enough to be within 6, so it doesn't get that bonus die. But it will get a bonus die for here, so it's going to be rolling 46 versus the 2 defense. Oh wow, all successful hits, no defense. That means the 6 here will automatically put this to 0, and now the ship is going to be drifting. The last movement that it made was moving forward. I know this round it didn't move at all, but I think they drift in the direction of whatever movement it made previously. Put a comment in the comment section below if that is incorrect. And then it's going to take 3 damage here on the hull, down to 4 and 0. Now you'll notice here that this main gun that I just shot says recharge, and what that means is the next round it needs a full round to recharge before it can shoot again, so I can't use that weapon for the next combat round. Now it will go back over to the Terran side. It's got +1, and he's going to go ahead and shoot here because he is within close range, within 5 inches. So he's going to get a bonus die. So he's going to roll his 2d6 +1 for the bonus damage, and then +1 because he's within close range. And then the forward defense here is 2. So here's the dice pool. We got 2 successful hits. Oh, I'm finally going to use advanced targeting system, which enables it to go ahead and roll one of the misses. I forgot I have advanced jamming system. Makes it so that all of these ranges has to be 2 inches less. So in effect it's like it's 7 inches away. So I shouldn't have rolled that extra die. So let's just pull one out. But I do get a reroll, so I'll reroll that. And that is a successful hit. So that's going to be this removed with the defense die, and then 2 6s. So I need to remove it from the engines and it becomes a 2. Alright, all these ships are converging right into each other. Now we're going to do the missile strikes. First a Kurgan missile into the back, which is normally 2-1, but it's going to be a 1 defense here. And all misses, so no damage there. And similarly over here, it gets no defense die because it's 0. So it's just a 3d6 attack. And it's going to be 2 hits. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off of the hull, like so. And I forgot to reduce all of these by 1. Alright, let's do repair phase. First for this big ship. Nope. For the frigate. Nope. For the Terran heavy cruiser. Nope. And this frigate has taken no damage, so it doesn't have to roll. Alright, now for the command phase. I did lose another one here because I went down to 2. So that only leaves me with 2 reserve power. I opted to add more to my armor to my starboard side and still boosting my weapon 1 damage. And then here, because I have 0 engine, I'm assuming I get 0 reserve power. And so I don't have any options here. With this one, because I am down to 2, I only get 1 reserve power, and I'm adding it to my weapon 2 damage. And then here, I still have all of my reserve power remaining, so I'm adding it to both of my weapons. So let's go ahead and do the sensor phase. No one opted to add any points to the sensors, and it's a tie. Let's go ahead and roll it off again. And Wow, the Kurgans win with a 4. So now we enter into the movement phase, but first we do the asteroids and the ships. This asteroid will move 2. Again, I don't think it hits the drones, but again, make a comment below if that's incorrect. This one's just going to move 2 out here. I think that's it for the asteroids. And then drifting ships, this is going to move 2 inches forward, and it's actually going to hit the drones right there. So assuming that's going to take damage. So let's go ahead and roll for that. So that's 5d6 into the front. And there was 3 successful hits. And I assume it still has shields up. So we'll be rolling 2 dice since it hit the front of the ship. And 1 successful block. But we'll take 2 more, taking the hull down to 2. Alright, so all the drifting movement has happened. Now we're going to do drone deployments. I think even though it doesn't have any power, he is still going to activate the drone. And then I'll also say that this frigate is going to activate a second drone. You can only activate a drone per turn. Now we do ship movement. So he is first. He's going to turn 90 degrees. It's going to be hard to do with just one hand. But I'm not even going to use a template because his turn is so slight. I'm going to aim him that way. Anything within 45 degrees is just 1 point. And then anything between up to 90 degrees is going to be an extra 3 movement inches. So that total, a 90 degree turn is going to be a total of 4 movement. But I'm only doing a less than 45 degree turn, so that takes up 1. And again, I only have 2 inches of movement. So I'm going to just move forward 1 inch. And then here, I'm going to activate this ship. He's actually going to ramp. So he can move 5 inches, which is enough. And that's enough for him to move forward and ram into this ship. So this is how ramming works. You look at the ship size. So both of them are frigates. So they're both going to be rolling 2 dice each. Shields do not block ramming damage. So just rolling 2 each. And we've got just 1 hit from the Terrans and then 2 hits from the Kurgans. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off the hull here for 1 hit on the Kurgan ship. And then here 2 hits. I'm going to take 1 off of the engine and 1 from the hull. And there you go. And then finally here, I'm actually not going to move at all, but just stay there. And then drone movement. So this is going to definitely hit here. And let's see if this second one will hit into, because the orange has 5 inches of movement. Yes, both of these drones are going to hit this guy. So let's roll 1 at a time. So this one's going to hit the front. This one's going to hit the starboard side. So the orange is rolling 3d6 against the 2d6 of the defense. No, I'm sorry. This is already down to 2 engine. So it's going to only be rolling 1 defense die. So 2 hits, no defense. So I'm going to take it off of the hull to make it down to 2. And then the second drone that hit, just 1 hit, no defense. And again, I'm going to reduce the hull down to 1. So these 2 drones successfully hit. And then the final drone is going to be this one. Yellow is moving 6 inches, which is definitely within 6. So it's going to be hitting the starboard side of the ship. Now he added another die for defense. So he's going to be rolling 3 defense versus 46 attack. Oh, no defense. And 4 hits total. I'm going to take it off the hull. Now it's 3 and 2. So these drones did quite a bit of damage. Alright, so we are done with drone movement. Now we're going to go into the combat phase. We're going to do missile launches again. Going to do exactly the same missile launches that we have been doing thus far. Although, you know what? I'm going to have his missile be targeting this smaller frigate down here instead of that one. Alright, now regular ship attacks. So the heavy cruiser is going to go first and shoot off of weapon 1, which has a +1 die, and it is within close range. So that's going to be 5 dice total. And then for defense on the front is 2 dice. Alright, so only 2 hits and no defenses. So that actually is going to destroy the ship because it goes down to 0. So this ship is removed. Blows up. Now it is the Terran side. He's going to go ahead and just shoot a 2d6, but then +1, so 3d6 against the 1 defense die. So that's going to be 2 successful hits, 1 at a 6, no defense dice. So I have to take it off the engine so that I have 1 hull remaining. Oh, I should have re-rolled this. Oh, it still was a miss because of advanced targeting systems. Alright, now it's going to shoot beam number 2. It's basically the same roll. Actually, you should be rolling another one because of close range. I think this is going to be it. Yeah, pretty much. 4 hits, I only block 1, but 3 more go through. He only had 1 left, so this ship is destroyed. Oh, you know what? I forgot. After I destroyed that ship with the initial hit, he is within 3 inches. So this rocket attack is going to be to the port, or the starboard side. It's a 5d6, and then the starboard side of this ship is only going to be getting 2 dice for defense. We have 3 hits, 1 successful block. So 2 hits remaining. 1 is a 6, so it has to be removed off of the engine. And then 1 I will remove off the hull. So 2 and 3. So the missile going to the back of this ship, 3d6, no defense. 3 hits! Wow, I'm going to have to take it off the engine and 2 off of the hull. Now it's down to 1-1. But then the missile here with 1 defense die for the frigate is 2 hits, no defense, and going to take 1 off of engine and 1 off of hull. Alright, we're going to go ahead and roll some repairs, see if they repair. 4, 5, or 6. Both of them get a repair. He's actually going to add it to, both of them are going to add it to their engine. So we have a 1 and 2 here, which is giving 2 reserve power on this side, and 3 we're getting 2 reserve power on this side. I'm going to go ahead and shield up my starboard side and then add +2 movement over here, and then this guy is going to do weapon number 2 and also add defense over here. Let's go ahead and do the sensor roll. We've got 9 on the Kurgan, so they're going to go first. We have drifting, so this moves up. This also moves, and that's it for drifting. No one has drones to deploy. Now we do ship movement. He's going to go first with his total of 4 movement points. This is where turning 90 degrees is going to help. So going to go all the way around like this. So for my total 4 movement points, I can move 90 degrees, but can't move forward. And then with the 3 inches of movement that he has, he's going to move 1, 2, 3 like this, so that he gets out of the forward arc. Now the combat phase, missile launches. I have 1 last missile. I'm going to put it on the back side. And then now ship attack, so he won the sensor phases, so he's going to attack first. The starboard, he has 2 attacks for the starboard, which is a rocket attack and the weapon 2 attack. So first 3d6, and let's see if he's within, yes, he's definitely within 5 inches. So going to get an extra die for close combat. So 4 total dice, and then the defense bumped him back up into red. So starboard side with this added is going to be 4 defense dice. So we've got 3 successful hits, only 1 block. That's going to be 2 more damage. Have to reduce it from the engines. Now let's see if you can finish him off with this rocket. 5d6 on the starboard side. Limit 2, so this is going to be my last rocket attack on the starboard side. And then again, now that it's dropped down to 1, defense dice is going to be 1, 2. So we have 3 hits, 1 successful block, but 2 more go through, which completely destroys the ship. So the Kurgan side ends up winning the battle. The only thing I think I didn't show was the mines. Once a ship gets within 3 inches of a mine, it will detonate, doing 3d6 attack to all ships within the blast radius. And shields can counter the attack. So hopefully that tutorial was helpful for you, gives you a sense of how the game plays, as well as some of the rules. As always, if I got any of the rules wrong, go ahead and make a comment below. Hopefully Tom will notice this video and will make any corrections. And if he does so, I will pin them in the comments. But feel free to also point out any mistakes that I made. I know that I forgot a couple of times to use the advanced targeting systems, as well as some of the other abilities that I forgot. But over time, I think it's simple enough that you're able to pick up those. Overall, I think the game plays relatively quickly and is fun, and you can field a bunch of different ships. And all you have to do is make sure that both sides have the same number of points. And you can even things out just by being able to add some drones or some mines that you're able to use. So overall, it's pretty easy to balance things out. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you're interested in more videos like this. Otherwise, happy gaming. We'll see you next time.